Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 26 of Get Real with Rajiv. Today we are going to be answering 4 questions like we do every single week, and Pawan's going to be the voice of your questions today. So Pawan, shoot the first question.
The first question is from Naved Saigal on Facebook. He asks, is micromanaging and constant audits of every department and employee in the business healthy? If not, where to draw the line?
Well, Navid, you've asked a very pertinent question, and here's my response to it. I don't know about micromanaging, but I definitely know managing is definitely healthy, which means you need to do consistent review meetings with your departments, and you need to do consistent review meetings with team members on a one-to-one basis as well. Now, if you ask me what should be the frequency of such meetings so that it does not come across as micromanaging, then in my recommendation, it truly depends on the maturity level of that department in your business. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you have an accounts department head who's pretty sorted and an accounts department with a proper team which is in place. Then such a department I would consider as a matured department because it has a good leader, it has a good team, and it's an established department. For such a department, I would do reviews on a monthly basis just to kind of track and do a health and hygiene check of how the activities of the department are going. But let's just say you're setting up a new department. Let's just say you're setting up a marketing department. For a department which I'm just setting up and I have a department manager or a second line person in mind who I can develop as a manager, for such a department, I would be more hands-on and probably do review meetings on a weekly basis to make sure that we are on track to make sure that the department evolves in time. So the frequency depends on the maturity of the department and the department head. Minimum once a month every department has to be reviewed, maximum once a week, not more than that. Now, having said that, let me tell you, it's not the frequency that is the defining factor whether people enjoy the review or not. It's the tone of the review that matters the most. In most organizations, review equals abuse people, vent your frustration on them, blame them. And if that is the tone of a review meeting, then whether you do it in the right way or the wrong way in terms of frequency does not matter. People are going to resist a review. You need to shift the tone of the review and the objective of the review. For me, the objective of the review is to do a recap of where we stand, see our gaps, learn from it without blaming any individual, and then create corrective solutions and actions together. If your tone of review is that, then people will never ever resist review. So that is something that you need to look out for as to what is the tone and the objective of the review. Is it to blame? Or is it to find solutions? Is it to point a finger at people and to vent your frustration? Or is it to create new possibilities and discover gaps together? So the tone of the workplace has to be more collaborative for reviews to work. I think that defines whether reviews are something that people are open to or reviews are something that people resist. So be aware to that, my friend. Let's move on to the second question, Pawan.
The second question is from Arun Karunakaran on Facebook again. How to stay motivated when our efforts are taking time to show results?
Well, Arun, the only way I have figured out to stay motivated when you are doing something and it's taking time for the effort to translate into a result is to tell myself that it's a process. And it's to tell myself that wanting things to produce a quick result is only a wish and not a reality. And it's to tell myself that putting in this effort is the only way to produce the result. You know, sometimes we take ourselves out of the game by not finishing what we start. We start something with new energy, we go into it with a lot of excitement, and then it does not give us a result in the manner we expected it to happen or at the speed at which we expected it to happen, and then we lose our morale and we defeat ourselves by taking ourselves out of the game. The key is to understand that the game is of patience and persistence. I love these two words. Because patience is about waiting and persistence is about not stopping, which means you got to keep putting in the effort yet wait for the result to come out. So knowing that putting in that effort and enjoying the process is the only way, that thought, that awareness, that acceptance itself lifts your morale up rather than put your morale down. So that's the best way I know, Arun, to handle my mindset when something is taking more time than I expected it to take. So use that. Let's go to the third question.
Third question is from Vikramaditya Shivaram on Facebook again. When dealing with an external team that you have collaborated with, if both parties are young and aspiring to do better even though the revenue is poor but is scalable, should we be focused on building ourselves as individual entities and then come together, or just work together from the very beginning?
Well, Vikramaditya, right? Yeah. Vikramaditya, what I've understood from your question is that there are two organizations, your business and the business of a counterpart, and you're working collaboratively, and both are young companies and both have aspirations of growth, and you're working well together. So there is a good compatibility there. And the question both of you as founders of these two businesses now are asking is, does it make sense for us to collaborate, become partners and build a venture together? Or should we go our own way, build our own journeys and just collaborate at a common point? Well, my recommendation would be option one. Considering you're young companies and you have found this compatibility, this wavelength of working together, and you feel that there is synergy to come together and scale it up, according to me, this is how beautiful partnerships are born. Because most people find a co-founder by going out to their friends and family, which ends up being a disaster in most cases, because those co-founders don't have complementary skills and strengths, and they come in as friends and family, so the attitude is also of friends and family. But according to me, great partnerships are formed like this, where you come working together, and through the working relationship you find great compatibility, you find great alignment, and that for me is the true ingredient of a naturally born partnership. So my recommendation would be collaborate, set up a joint venture business, kill both your brands, create a common brand, co-own it and scale up together. It's always great to build a team with a co-founder than being a lone founder, and I think it's like a match made in heaven based on the dynamics of what you've described through your question. So just go for it. Let's go to the fourth question.
Fourth question is from Venkat John from Facebook again. I'm in a top position in a company. My MD is a nice person but lacks qualities of a leader. He does everything by himself, and this is spoiling the growth of the business. While he cannot lead, he only pleads. He will verbally say that you lead the team and do what it takes to do, but doesn't allow me to lead as I want to. My mind has gone blank. Should I start leading people or just let things go as they are?
Venkat, don't give up. Don't give up on the fact that don't get into this mindset of let things go as the way they are. What's my problem? I think for me, that is cancer in a professional's mind. A lot of working professionals steal away the power of taking ownership from themselves by saying, it's not my problem when certain things don't go their way. And based on what you've asked, Venkat, it seems like your MD is a nice person. That's what you've mentioned, which means he should be someone who's open to feedback. He should be someone who's open to understanding and listening to your concerns. So if you have a concern, have a conversation with him. Acknowledge him for being a nice person. Tell him the fact that you are able to express this to him shows the confidence that he subscribes in all of you. So go ahead and tell him that, hey, you know what? I have a concern and I'm willing to share it with you because I know you're an open-minded and a nice person. And then give him specific instances where you feel he's kind of overrun you or hijacked your domain of work and become a control freak, and give him that feedback and set up that permission that if he does it, that you have the permission to bring it to his awareness, because if he's a nice person, he'll be open to it. And also another thing you could do is gift him a copy of my book Lead or Bleed, so that he understands why self-employment is a trap and doing everything by himself is a trap. So educate him on them, give him feedback, continue to take the ownership, because if a man is expressing that he wants you to take leadership roles and expressing that he wants you to drive the team or drive projects, then you can't get a better workplace than that, Venkat. So don't switch off in your head. And this is to all the working professionals who are watching. The biggest injustice working professionals do to themselves is that they switch off in their head and don't take enough ownership, and they think that by being transactional in their head, which means having this mindset of I'll do my bit and get out of here, they're going to have a prosperous career. Well, if you're the sort of person who's gone into the shell of I'll do my bit and get out of here, you're doing injustice to yourself, not to the organization that you're working for or working with. So make sure that as a working professional, you always take ownership, and if you have a responsive leader like how Venkat has, who's willing to empower him with responsibilities, but sometimes makes that error of overriding and over intruding, then just give feedback, but never ever give up on that mental ownership that you have. So with that, we come to the end of episode number 26. I don't think there could be a better note to end episode number 26 than the message of taking ownership. And now we got to pick the winner of the week. So Pawan, indicate for me, according to you, who's the winner of the week? Well, Venkat, I think we're going to give it to you because you need a copy of my book Lead or Bleed to give it to your MD for him to read the book. So Venkat, congratulations for asking that question. You're going to get a copy of my book Lead or Bleed. Make sure you gift it to your MD and ask him to read it. Make sure you get him to watch this video as well. And for the rest of you, make sure you share this video so that more people get exposure to these questions and answers, and ask your questions in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in my next episode.